if someone asks the question, what is Orientalism? I hear this term kind of popping around. What does it mean? I remember the statement of our Sheikh in Medina, Sheikh Abdullah Shanqiti. He would say, Hum yadrusunana wa nahnu lam nadrus. He would say, they study us, and as for us, we don't study. So it refers to the process and the institutions of other people, non-Muslims, producing knowledge about us. We're an object of study. We're an object of study for other people. And they produce knowledge about us that's not based on our beliefs. That's not based on submission to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's not based on believing that the Quran is divine guidance, not based on believing that the hadith are the authentic statements of the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam. And they're producing knowledge about Islam and knowledge about the Muslims. There's conferences, there's papers, there's journals, there's institutions, there's universities, there's speaker circuits, there's conferences and conventions and all this sort of thing. Why? Why does it exist? Is it just that people are curious? No. It's that historically producing knowledge about Islam and producing knowledge about Muslims was essential to the project of conquering Muslims and changing Islam. They had to know about us in order to conquer us. They had to know about Islam in order to try to trick us and convince us that some of the things they wanted to do to us were right and okay and part of our tradition. Like we mentioned before about the Waqf system, when they had Orientalist scholars producing information in French Algeria that the Waqf system was bid'ah, was an innovation. This is the playbook. And now the names have changed. It's not the Oriental School of this or the Department of Oriental Studies. They've changed the name. Now it's Near Eastern Studies, Middle Eastern Studies, Islamic Studies. But this is the legacy, and this is the heritage of these departments and these disciplines. It goes back to, and it's not separable from, the colonial project, and it starts with the kind of epistemic foundations of wanting to know in order to conquer, in order to subject. So when we're talking about Orientalism, that's what we're talking about. This is why it's essential that we have a conversation amongst ourselves. This is why it's essential that we have academic discussions amongst ourselves. This is why there's a big difference between somebody who studies Islam in an authentic way, in a traditional way, a big difference between that and somebody who studies it in a Department of Islamic Studies. Not that it's impossible. A lot of these departments have changed. Some of them have changed more than others. From university to university, there's different individuals. Some people are doing very good work, but the overall foundations of these sorts of departments and universities, and many of the scholars who operate within them, are operating with assumptions that are not only outside of our faith, but actually undermine our faith. To say that if one wants to go and educate themselves, or participate in such a program, or benefit from the works, I read books from people who are in these sorts of departments and things like that, but you have to be aware. You have to be awake. You can't take everything and at face value. You have to take it with a grain of salt, and you need to understand sort of the ideologies and the projects that are at play. So it should be, understanding, and this is what, back to Sheikh Abdullah's statement, this is what he was trying to get us to see and to motivate us. So what are we doing, right? Look at how hard these people are working to undermine us. And what are we doing? What are we studying? We need to study our own tradition. We need to study our own scholars. We need to develop and enhance and make more sophisticated this conversation that's going on in our realm, in our ummah, and reach the point where we don't have to feel like we rely on this sort of scholarship, which is tainted, or feel that that sort of scholarship has any sort of superiority just because it comes from the big name universities and they've got the libraries and they've got all the artifacts that they stole from us.